hook of the song is about Molly Percocet. And so one of the things that's important to me about this song in particular is that as a psychologist talking about emotional intelligence and getting young people to be able to develop coping mechanisms that are healthy, a lot of the work for young men is to really get them to slow down long enough to be able to sit still, to be able to feel their bodies, right? We're talking about getting them to touch with their emotions. Part of that, the first step in that is to just be able to sit still and feel where you feel stuff at. And it might be different stuff for different people. For me, I feel, a lot of stuff in my stomach. Like if you have right the guts in place for that, if you feel tight, if your heart start beating, you start feeling warm. Like those are all signs that something is happening, that you might need to make a decision, you might need to navigate the system. But the culture for young men is often to not feel nothing. You can only express anger. You can be feeling a range of stuff, but you can only express anger in those moments. And so the work for the beginning of it is really just to sit still and listen to your body. You got to be a master of your own body. If you ain't a master of nothing else, know yourself to that degree. We talk about you can't love nobody until you love yourself. But I argue you can't love yourself until you know yourself. And for that just means really just being able to sit still and just be. And we got so much distractions right now. You can wake up and put the earphones right in, and then every moment from the time you woke to the time you fall asleep watching TV, you got somebody else's ideas in your brain, right? So we got to get young people into a mode where they can just turn everything off. But we got to do it too. Like it's not even like young people think. I struggle to turn my phone off. I go back home like everybody else go back home if they leave it. I find myself at a stoplight, and my brain gets bored in like a second, and I pull my phone out. It's changed the way all of us work. It impacts our young people in ways that in that moment of finding yourself, that critical rite of passage moment of adolescence to adulthood, those are the moments when you're trying to figure out who you are, why you created, what you're born for. And if somebody else is just telling you who you are, the news telling you a criminal, the TV's telling you a rapper, the athlete, your parents telling you and shit, if somebody's telling you something the whole way, if you never get a moment to unplug from that, to sit still, to meditate, whatever you call it, to allow for those spirit guides, which is your own intuition, if you believe in ancestors or Orisha or angels, whatever it is, they can only get through in those moments of silence. And if we don't get young people to be able to unplug in that way, then they miss a really important sort of developmental moment in adolescence to be able to figure out why am I here, what am I good at, what do I love to do. Then you ask them and they're like, I don't know, right? I see lots of shrugged shoulders and that question. Who are you? What's your purpose? What you here for? I don't know. Or it's just the very 90% of the boys want to be athletes or entertainers. Maybe 95. Their rooms times for every single hand, NFL, NBA, or rapper, right? And one of the exercises I do as I think about the politics of it is we talk about the image of creating a sovereign nation. If we ever want to be completely independent, what would we need for that? And so in that conversation, it's very easy to realize that you can't have 95% of people being athletes and entertainers. And so there got to be some development of skill sets to basic stuff like growing vegan food or carpentry or very, very simple engineering.